Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, fun bit of Scott's Thoughts history back in the day, and I mean way back in the day, many moons ago, I reviewed a film called Man of Steel, which is a Zack Snyder film who also directed this movie. I just remember my foyer into the Zack Snyder fandom was that I simply said Man of Steel wasn't very good. This was early days. I have a lot of newer subscribers now, so I'm just giving a bit of history. I I discovered that the Zack Snyder fandom only wants you to say a movie is good. So when it isn't, I got death threats. That was fun. Thank you, Restore to the Snyderverse people. Yeah, so I got death threats for that. Zack Snyder released a new movie, and yeah, it'll be fun revisiting the good old death threats. Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, I'm here today to review for you Army of the Dead. So Army of the Dead is the latest film by Zack Snyder. It is a kind of heist movie starring Dave Bautista, and ultimately he was a part of a badass squad. They did some badass stuff when a zombie outbreak happened in Nevada. We quarantined off Nevada, and now they are on a ticking clock because they need to do a heist to get money before Las Vegas is nuked. And that is more or less the plot of the movie until Zack Snyder said, you know, instead of making a kind of subpar and shitty Ocean's 11 movie, I can make this a literal direct ripoff of Aliens about an hour and 10 minutes into this 2-hour and 30-minute movie that probably should have been an hour and a half. Like I said, death threats from the Snyder fans is gonna be fun. This film is not good. Actually, I will say, to its credit, the first act is alright, and the introduction, the opening montage, that was really compelling. I was like, okay, wow, I'm actually on board for this. I'm not usually a huge zombie guy. I think the last zombie movie I actually gave a positive review for was, way back in the day also, World War Z. But I'm not a huge zombie guy, but I'm open to the idea of a good zombie film. And, you know, the opening scene, the way it was shot in Zack Snyder's fashion, it actually looked pretty good. And then we met our hero, Dave Bautista, who plays a guy named Scott. Dave Bautista is absolutely the standout of the film. I'm trying to stay with as much of the positive first. Bautista, he really plays this character with a lot of conviction. He actually, for the scenes that he has to act dramatically in, I really felt for him. Bautista, in many regards, does drama better than The Rock does. Because The Rock has a lot of fun, compelling action films. But Dave Bautista, I actually have to say, his dramatic acting was better than The Rock's. Now, that was about all that was really good about the film. So if you've seen Rick and Morty, there is an episode where Rick and Morty basically make fun of the fact that a heist just has a lot of stereotypes and it's kind of been done to death. And this film actually proves their point and makes exactly the heist film that they basically make fun of in that episode, and I just got a kick out of that. This movie is not good. About 40 minutes in, with the intro, I was like, you know what, this is like a C+ movie. I mean, it's like a meant-for-DVD film and nothing else. And I guess it was streaming on Netflix, but it also was released in theaters. And that's where I'm saying, like, as the movie goes on, your score goes down. So your level of enjoyment that you hit within the first, like, 10 minutes, take that and then just knock it down pegs. Because, yeah, Zack Snyder shoots movies well. We know that. Cinematography doesn't make a whole film. How does the story hold up? Well, it doesn't. The cheesy dialogue, the basically, my God, I haven't seen you since the good old days. Does that mean we're back at it? Oh yeah. Let's team up. That kind of crap. The dialogue is stupid. There's some scenes where it's like Zack Snyder's trying to do comedy, and it just comes off as awkward. Like when they're trying to get through these booby traps, there's like a montage where I'm like, this is just borderline cringy. and actually it eventually got cringy. Now, the action again. Zack Snyder knows how to film action. He films it with some nice, beautiful wide shots mixed with some slow motion. He does that very well. But my biggest issue is that about 45 to 50 minutes into the film, Zack Snyder literally says, in my opinion, he basically said, well, I'm making a subpar Ocean's film with zombies. Remember that movie Aliens? How about we rip it off to the point that James Cameron could probably sue us? Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. It's Aliens. There are even scenes that are almost exact shot-for-shot recreations. The dialogue is almost the same. Like, and then they rip off a scene from Predator even. Like, it is Alien and Predator, but he said, but zombies, no one will tell the difference. It's egregious. It is legitimately horrible. And I'm like, just go watch Aliens. If you've seen the like back half of Aliens to the point of Newt being kidnapped and all of that, you've literally seen this movie. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what Zack Snyder was going for here because he blatantly rips it off. I mean, I can't... It's a spoiler for Army of the Dead if I reference Aliens because the scenes are shot for shot almost identical. Down to vents being ripped open, down to corridors, people being kidnapped, the corridor combat. It's Aliens. And I'm like, I hate this because I'm not a huge zombie guy to begin with. Why don't I just turn that crap off and go watch Aliens? Which is what I probably should have done. This movie, I'm containing my anger because it's not really rant-worthy. It's a Netflix film called Army of the Dead. No one's gonna remember this film in 2 weeks. But, you know, while we're here, I'm just gonna say this movie fucking sucks. If James Cameron, we hear in the news in like a couple weeks, if you find out that he's lawyered up because he managed to watch this movie, you don't be surprised because this is a blatant, egregious ripoff, especially on the back half. The beginning half is not Aliens for like the first 30 minutes, and then it becomes Aliens, and I really don't like this movie, and I really don't like that Zack Snyder got so lazy in that back half. Granted, again, his cinematography is great, but as his film Sucker Punch proved, cinematography doesn't make a good film. You need a marriage of story, of dialogue, of a mix of tension and that breath of relief. You need a mishmash of all of these things to make a perfect storm that is a good film. And when you can't make a good film and your solution is, I'm just going to take one of the all-time classics of science fiction cinema and rip it off, well, that just makes me mad at you, and I think you're kind of a dick for it. So, you're not paying homage, you're ripping off. Alright, guys, gals, and everything in between, Army of the Dead is absolute garbage. Alright, do you guys disagree with me? I can't wait for the death threats because the Zack Snyder fans are going to come out of the woodwork like these zombies do. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I got plenty more videos coming to you. Hit that bell notification. It's what the hip kids are doing. Love you guys.